Coming up, another round of talks on Syria will be held in the capital of Kazakhstan. Details in our news digest. A new program of preferential mortgages may appear in Kazakhstan. Find out about this and other initiatives of the president tonight. Green light. Unvaccinated citizens of Kazakhstan may soon be denied access to public places. A new program of preferential mortgages may appear in Kazakhstan. Head of State Kassym-Jomart Tokayev instructed to create it as part of the national project for the development of regions. According to the president, the down payment should not exceed 10% and the interest rate should vary from 2 to 5%. This, according to the head of state, will stimulate the voluntary resettlement of citizens to more promising growing cities in need of specialists. There are 89 cities in Kazakhstan and about 30% of them are single industry towns, which accommodate 8% of the country's population. They make a significant contribution to the development of the economy and produced about 40% of industrial products. Kassym-Jomart Tokayev noted the importance of diversifying their economies and creating new jobs. In addition, the president instructed the government to prepare an analysis for all single industry cities. It must be completed by March 1, 2022. Kazakhstan will tighten its COVID-19 restrictions. Consideration is being given to allowing only citizens with a green status to visit public places of mass gathering. Kazakh First Vice Minister of Health Marat Shuranov announced this at the government's meeting. According to him, the COVID-19 vaccination rate is declining in the country. To date, only 66.6% of the population has been fully immunized. According to experts, this figure is not enough to achieve herd immunity.
В пилотном режиме будет протестировано проведение доступа к местам массового скопления.
It will now be tested in pilot mode that on weekdays, only citizens with green status will be allowed to visit places of mass gathering. First of all, this is done to protect the health of other people, and we must take care of them. In addition to vaccinated people, there are children and unvaccinated elderly people who have contraindications. In this case, according to our rules, a citizen should be given his or her status based on the medical exemption to COVID-19 vaccination or be vaccinated.
Человек должен получить свой статус либо согласно медотводу, либо быть вакцинирован.
In the country as a whole, over the past 2 months, there has been a decrease in the incidence of coronavirus by almost 3 times and in mortality by 4. Experts note that it's too early to relax. It's necessary to strengthen control over the observance of measures. The situation in neighboring countries should be taken into account. Compliance with restrictive measures must be ensured in all regions. Monitoring groups should work in an enhanced mode. Mayoral offices and the Ministry of Health need to conduct audits of medicines and medical equipment in medical institutions and warehouses and provide them in full. In the global ranking, Kazakhstan ranks 105th out of 222 countries in terms of the incidence of coronavirus and 102nd in terms of mortality. COVID cases rise again. Kazakhstan reported 1,396 new infections in the last 24 hours. Almaty accounts for the highest single-day case load in the country. The southern metropolis detected 211 new coronavirus cases in the past day. The North Kazakhstan region follows with 154 new confirmed cases. The Pavlodar region is in third place. According to the Interdepartmental Commission, Kostanay, Pavlodar, Akmola, and North Kazakhstan regions continue to remain in a high-risk red zone for the spread rate of the deadly virus. The situation is slightly better in the cities of Nur-Sultan and Almaty, as well as in the East Kazakhstan region. All other regions are in the safe green zone. New types of coronavirus might spread in Russia, announced Alexander Butenko, the Gamaleya Center virologist. According to him, many residents of the country saw the COVID non-working period as an opportunity to travel abroad. They can come back not only with souvenirs, but also with an infection. This can be both the strains that have already spread in Russia, as well as new variants of the coronavirus. This will further exacerbate the epidemic situation in the country, the virologist believes. Since the beginning of the autumn, Russia's coronavirus cases and deaths have been continuously hitting new highs. Local authorities declared a lockdown from October 30th to November 7th to contain the spread of the virus. Stranded tourists, school closures, mass COVID-19 testing. China fears the most serious consequences due to a new coronavirus outbreak, which has spread to more than half of the country's regions. Local authorities even asked the residents to stock up on food. At least certain officials were fired for a poor response to the current outbreak. New red and yellow zones appear in the region every day. Moving between cities has become more difficult. The number of trains is decreasing, especially in regions which reported new infections. Some of the trains are stopped right on the road. At the same time, the vaccination of citizens with the third dose is in full swing in the country. About 80% of China's population has already been vaccinated. According to experts, thanks to the booster dose, the country can achieve herd immunity by the middle of the next year. Clinical trials have shown that the booster vaccine has a strong effect and can improve antibody titer by 5 to 10 times, even if there was a long break between the second and third doses. After vaccination, people get humoral and cellular immunity. This means that anti-COVID-19 lymphocytes can remember the virus. The third dose can stimulate lymphocytes and refresh their memory to release more antibodies. The ground is slipping away. This is literally the situation that residents of Jordan are experiencing right now. Thousands of giant sinkholes have emerged on the shores around the Dead Sea, and their number continues to grow. The depth of the largest of them is 10 meters. At the same time, the ground around the body of water began to collapse. According to scientists, landfalls are caused by a decrease in the size of the sea. Both global warming and the use of tributaries for agricultural purposes contribute to its reduction. To solve this problem, activists hope to attract the attention of the world community and find investments to rebuild the destroyed infrastructure. Talks on Syria will be held in the capital of Kazakhstan again. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for December. Kazakh Minister of Foreign Affairs Mukhtar Taliberde announced this to the journalists today. According to him, the department received an appeal from the guarantor states with a request to organize the Astana process once more. However, the exact dates when it will take place are still being figured out. The foreign minister also added that the dialogue will be held at the level of deputy ministers. The 16th round of Syria talks was held in Nur-Sultan this summer on July 7th. Kazakhstan is increasing the number of international flights. 3 years from now, residents of the country will be able to reach the US without transfer and transit. Director General of the Aviation Administration of Kazakhstan, Peter Griffiths, announced this. According to him, in order to make direct transatlantic flights, domestic airlines need to purchase new long-haul aircrafts. Their cost is around $100 million.
We're currently planning for 2024. This is because it follows a number of pieces of work that we will need to do. The first step was getting the security right. We then need to get flight operations right. So there are quite a few things that we need to do to achieve that. So we start now with the FAA.
In the meantime, Kazakhstan is gradually opening up the skies after tight quarantine restrictions. To date, 57 domestic routes have been restored in the country, and international flights with 23 countries have been resumed. By 2025, Kazakhstan will attract 1 trillion tenge of investments in the development of renewable energy sources. Kazakh Energy Minister Makhzum Mirzagaliev announced this at the government's meeting. 62 RES projects with a total capacity of 1 gigawatt are planned to be launched in the next 4 years. By 2025, the share of gasification of the population will reach 60%. About 12 million citizens will thus have access to gas. Mirzagaliev noted that measures are being taken in the country to comprehensively convert thermal power plants to gas. Thus, 2 thermal power stations in Nur-Sultan will switch to gas in 2022. And in Almaty, the transition of 3 combined heat and power plants will be completed by 2026. In addition, it is planned to build steam and gas plants in the south of the country. According to the relevant ministry, the main purpose of these measures is to protect the environment and reduce harmful emissions.
Жоғарыда көрсетілген жоспарларды іске асыру Электр энергиясының генерациялық құрылымында мынадай
The above plans will lead to the following changes in the structure of electricity generation. First, the share of coal production will decrease from 70 to 40%. Secondly, gas production will increase from 20 to 38%. Third, the share of renewable energy sources will increase from 3 to 15%. This will enable Kazakhstan to fulfill its obligations under the Paris Agreement and lay the foundation for further decarbonization and carbon neutrality by 2060.
Одан әрі декарбонизациялау және көміртегі бейтараптығына қол жеткізудің негізі қаланады.
COVID cases rise again. Kazakhstan reported 1,396 new infections in the last 24 hours. Almaty accounts for the highest single-day case load in the country. The southern metropolis detected 211 new coronavirus cases in the past day. The North Kazakhstan region follows with 154 new confirmed cases. The Pavlodar region is in third place. According to the Interdepartmental Commission, Kostanay, Pavlodar, Akmola, and North Kazakhstan regions continue to remain in a high-risk red zone for the spread rate of the deadly virus. The situation is slightly better in the cities of Nur-Sultan and Almaty, as well as in the East Kazakhstan region. All other regions are in the safe green zone. Saxaul trees will be planted at the drained bottom of the Aral Sea by aerial seeding technique. A corresponding agreement has already been concluded with Uzbekistan. The parties even developed a special tree planting roadmap. During the government meeting, the head of the relevant department reported that 100,000 hectares of land had already been prepared for that. Previously, saxaul trees were planted on 337,000 hectares. According to the plan, the total area on which they will be planted exceeds 1 million hectares. Experts expect that this will stop the migration of sand dunes and the spread of toxic aerosols. Increase exports and reduce the need for imported products. Such tasks are set by the rice growers of the Qazaq region. Despite the difficulties due to drought and low water in the current agricultural season, the regional farms have harvested 500,000 tons of rice. About 60 centers of the crop were collected from each hectare.
Биылғы жыл бұл екі сорттан 1156 гектар жерге егілді.
This year, local rice varieties have been grown on an area of 1,156 hectares. From the obtained harvest by the next year, about 3,000 tons of seeds were harvested, which can be sown on 12,000 hectares. This is almost 15% of the total. We plan to increase this figure to 50% in 2022.
50%-ға дейін жеткізуге мүмкіндік болады. Енді тиімділігіне қарай шаруашылықтар өздерінің таңдауларын жасайтын болады.
The country has taken a course towards the development of the rice cluster. A large-scale agricultural project has been developed. Thanks to its implementation, high yields of rice were collected even in the northern districts of the Qazaq region.
91 жылы ауданда ауыл шаруашылығы өнімдері 1,4 миллион теңгені құраса, өткен жылы 16.
If in 1991 the region produced agricultural products totaling 1,400,000 tenge, then last year 16 billion tenge. Now crops occupy 17,000 hectares, including grain more than 6,500 hectares. The production of agricultural products is developing.
Егілді. Өткен кезеңмен салыстырғанда өнімнің егілуде және өнім өндірілуде жоғарылығы байқалады.
Over the years of independence, the agrarians of the Qazaq region have grown over 9 million tons of rice. Over the past 15 years, rice worth $260 million has been exported from the Aral Sea region. The region where up to 80% of all domestic rice is grown does not intend to slow down. A biobag from wheat was developed by the students of the Nazarbayev Intellectual School in Aktau. To make it, Yernar Omirzak and Asiya Tijen collected an environmentally friendly product in the schoolyard. The material resembles pastilla and can withstand weight up to 1 kilogram. The school children even developed a prototype apparatus to produce bags in large amounts. Now young scientists are planning to enter the mass market with their product.
Бір пакетті жасау үшін 20-30 минут уақыт қажет. Ең басты идеяны осы жаздан бастап ойлаған болатынбыз. 3-4 айдың ішінде біз осы проектті жасап шығардық. Қазіргі таңда осы пластикпен
It took us only 30 minutes to make one bag. We came up with this idea in the summer and in 4 months we implemented it. Our bag can become a good alternative to polyethylene products. But unlike polyethylene products, the biobag decomposes fast. We plan to patent our invention.
Сондықтан біздің ойымызша бұл өте тамаша балама болып табылады полиэтилен өнімдеріне. Біз осы қыста патент, яғни осы авторлық құқыққа алуды жоспарлаудамыз.